What is up, people? It's your boy Zubs, and welcome to another episode of Everyday Zubs, where I talk about tech, I review tech, and I talk about business. Today, we've got something very special. I know there's not a lot of reviews out there about this. I know people are very interested. Sorry about that. Interested in finding out more about this device. So, this is the BlackBerry F9900. For those who don't know, this is a device that's been built from the ground up, um, based on the BlackBerry 9900, Bold 9900, and this runs Android 13 out of the box. This device has no alterations, there's no aftermarket parts, there's no need to do anything, as you would see with other community projects out there. This is, in my opinion, a really neat device. And I'll be very honest, when I received this, when I placed the order for this, I was pretty skeptical. I thought I'd never receive it. I paid $2.99 USD for it, and it's I think that was a fair price. I know this had a older version with 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of ROM. This, however, is the upgraded version with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of internal storage. Now, there are a few things that I still don't like about this, but I would say the pros outweigh the cons quite a bit. Now, before we get into this, I want to show you what it came in, and actually came in this little box here. So they've got their branding. I'm not too happy with that name, I'll be very honest. I think they could have been more creative, but it's fine. There's not a lot on the box. You've got this on the side, and that's about it. Inside, you do receive a little case. I wish I used this before I dropped the phone, but it doesn't really matter. But it's good to see that they've included this. Then you have your USB-A to USB-C charger. Again, I'm not using it, as you can see, still tied up, because I've got a fair few USB-C chargers in the house. It comes with a little manual as well, and it comes with this charging brick. Now, I'm based in the UK, so I don't have any use for these 2-prong ones, but good to know that it's available. And that's, to be fair, that's about it in the box, so let's put that away. This is the star of the show, the actual device. Now, as I mentioned, this one's the upgraded version with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 GB of internal storage. What I failed to mention was that this also has a setting where you can increase your RAM up to 10 gigs by utilizing 6 GB of virtual storage, or you give away 6 GB to the system. I'm not sure how that works, but to be fair, I activated that setting and it's done really well for me. Now, on the side, we've got your volume rocker, we've got your power button, and we've got your SIM tray. It is dual SIM, or you could use one single SIM, and you can use a micro SD up to 128 gig storage, I believe. Now, on the top, we've got the 3.5mm headphone jack. Really impressed with that, really happy with that. I normally use wireless earbuds, but I see why people want to go back to it, because you don't have to constantly be charging your earbuds all the time, and to be fair, you get a better sound experience when you're using wired headphones anyway. So really, happy to see that on this device. On the left side, you have a custom button. This can be mapped to any of your apps on the system. At the bottom, you've got your microphone and you've got USB-C charging ports. Now, the reason why I love this over the community projects that people are doing, those have to be altered, those have to be changed. People are changing the internals, people are changing the the micro USB to USB ports, and they are very shabby looking. I know one of the problems that people were talking about on the Zinma Q25 was, even when you are trying to remove the SIM tray, it kind of might damage the Wi-Fi, whatever you call it. But on this, you don't have that problem. This works straight out of the box as a device should. There's no IMEI changes. On the Zinma Q25, I know it was kind of illegal what they were doing. They were changing the internals and the IMEI numbers. That's not really cool. This, however, does not have that issue. So I'm very happy to, say that this is a decent device to have, to be fair. Now at the front, you have your earpiece, you have your selfie camera, your proximity sensors, I believe. You have your answer button, your home button, your back button, your encore button, and the lovely, lovely keyboard. On the back, you have your flashlight, you have a main camera that's, I believe, is 8 megapixel. The front one was 5 megapixel. Now I wouldn't expect this to capture iPhone-esque photos, but it has autofocus and it's quite clear, so I'm happy with that. And you've got your speaker right at the back. This is the only speaker that you get on the device, and you know what, I'd call this average, and I'll call this appropriate for the price of this device and for what this device actually is. Now, the feel of the phone, I would say, is just below premium quality, and the reason why I say that is because the Bold 9900 used to have a metal frame. This has a high quality plastic, but it feels really good to the touch. The back can easily be taken off, and as you can see, it does have a little gap there. Now when I dropped the phone, obviously I scuffed it from here, as you can see, but if you were to use a little pry tool, you could open this quite easily. It's not glued down or anything like that, so very good to see. You can access the battery. The battery is not removable, but repairability wise, this is pretty decent. And yeah, I mean, that's the exterior of the device. You do have little 2 holes here, so I assume you can put a wristband or a wrist strap, I would say, into that and carry the phone around. Overall, a very, very nice looking device, good quality. Even though it is from China, but most things are, and the fact that this it is built by a Chinese OEM. The quality is very, very nice, very, very different from the other phones that I've used in the past or I've reviewed in the past, like your Doves and Kins. This is, I would say, 10 times more better than that. Now, it is Android. It's running Android 13 out of the box. So as you can see, I currently have Niagara Launcher. If you're not aware of Niagara Launcher is one of the best launchers I have ever experienced on Android. The fact is that this allows your device to be more streamlined, more work focused, or more productivity focused. On the top, you have your favorites. As you can see, these are all my favorites. These are all the apps that I use. And then if you want to get to a certain app that's not in your favorite list, rather than typing it in, you can just search via the first letter of that app. And as you can see, you have your A to Z on the right side of the screen. So let's say if I want to get to telephone, I'll just press T, and then there you go, you're at telephone, right? So perfect. I will leave a link down below for this launcher. I think it's amazing. I think even if you're using a slap phone or any other kind of phone that's Android based, it's worth you using Niagara Launcher. Now, there are a few things, like I said, that I am picky about. You might have noticed I have not spoken about the trackpad here. And the reason is this trackpad isn't actually a trackpad like it was on the Bold 9900. Now, the phone is quite small, as you can see. It's the size of my palm. So, whereas when I first initially got this, I was kind of gutted that I couldn't use the trackpad. You know, I thought that was great. But then the more I used it, the more I realized if I hold my phone like this, which I think 99% of people will when they're typing out, it was rather uncomfortable for my thumb to go here because of the way it's positioned. But a more natural placement for my thumb was just here, so on the screen. And, you know, scrolling in and out was perfectly fine that way. But there is a method to their madness. You would expect this trackpad not to work. However, it does. But it has a different use case. And the use case is, if I press it, it opens up the recent apps, right? So now if I had, let's for example, I've got telephone open, I've got contacts open, I've got gallery open. If I need to switch between apps quickly, or if I want to close one of the apps, or if I want to close all of them, all I do is I press this button and I can easily just swipe through and find the app that I want, or I can clear all of them. Now, because it's a QWERTY device, normally you would use two hands. So, you know, the way it's positioned, the way it works out really well. Now, in regards to, you know, people saying, oh, it's only 4 gigs of RAM. Well, like I said, I've increased this to, you know, 10 gigs, and I'll show you where it says that. If you look closely, it says 4 plus 6 GB. So I am currently using 10 GB RAM and only 2.2 GB is available at the moment. Not sure why that is, but it's fairly quick. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So we're going to open up a fair few apps again. There we go. So as you can see, all of them work together. And now whilst those are all open, we're going to go to the browser and we're going to see how the speed is. Now, I was on Amazon looking for a keyboard and mouse set. I will reload this. I will actually close. Oh, we'll close these and we'll search for it again. So let's go on something else. Let's go on Sky Sports, because, you know, the World Cup is happening and I failed to see the match today. So let's have a look at what happened. So as you can see, oh, there we go. As you can see, very quick to load. The screen is very responsive. Loading time is great. We'll go on Mexico versus England. By the way, England, it's coming home. Sorry, I'm a little biased towards it, but yeah. Now, as you can see, it's working perfectly fine. I think you can run multiple tabs as well, not a problem. So we'll go on Amazon as well. There we go, fairly quick. We'll open another tab and we'll go on Google. Let's go on Google Maps or Google Translate. So as you can see, that works. Let's go on something like YouTube. I know people like YouTube as well. So There we go. We'll just go in shorts for a quick bit.
Are you allowed to change your shoe studs and play in the FIFA World Cup? The answer to this is both.
I'm 43. How old do you think I am? I would say...
I love Impractical Jokers. I'm not sure if you've watched that show before, but it's really funny. But yeah, I'm not sure if you could hear the sound. I'll play that once again so you can see that the speaker is pretty decent, to be fair.
Say 57. You're only off by 20 years. I'm 77. Get out of here. No! Get to you.
So I'm going to move this away from the camera so you can hear it as well again.
I'll show you me. I used to be a superhuman athlete. A superhuman athlete? I'm going in. I was an Olympic ultimate gymnastics. Dave James. Holy cow, man. Can I shake your hand? Certainly. Superhuman athlete.
So as you can see, the speaker is average and I think it's okay for this device. But yeah, again, this phone is not built to be a media consumption device. I will give my thoughts right at the end for who this device is for, what the use case is, and, you know, again, who it would be perfect for. But as you can see, I've got multiple apps open. I've got, you know, multiple tabs open, and it works perfectly fine. No jitters, no bugs, no, you know, lags. So very, very impressed with the specs, even though they're not the highest specs or premium specs, or even I would say, you know, mid-tier specs. But the fact that this can keep going without any hitch is perfect. Now, like I said, see, I've become so used to it, I just press the trackpad without even thinking, and I know it will open up the recent apps screen. So if we go back, there we go. So as you can see, this is why I love Niagara Launcher. I was watching YouTube on the browser, and it's told, you know, it shows you that YouTube is open. So I can just go close that. There we go. Brings you back to the YouTube, and we can just close this. There we go. All right. Now, in terms of telephone, I'm happy to say that rather than messing around with the screen, you can actually, and I'll just zoom in a little bit, you can use the keyboard. Oops. I'll do that again. And there we go. As you can see, all works. If I press call, makes a call directly. I don't have a SIM in this at the moment, but as you can see, all works well. And then we'll go to the camera. I want to show you the camera quality. So as you can see, there are quite a few things you can do. You have portrait mode, pro mode, capture mode, video, slow motion, and I believe time lapse. And what else? If I go to more, you have audio notes, QR code scanning, and night mode. We'll go back to the camera and we'll take a picture, and we'll go to capture. There we go. And I'll use this clipper lighter. So I just want you to see the quality with the iPhone camera at the moment that I'm using. There we go. If I can just get the focus right, because the lighting is really poor. There we go. Let's take that again. I think it's because of the lights that I have for this video, but just bear with me. Oh, actually, I have a picture that I took recently. So this is the quality. I'm glad that was there. So there we go. As you can see, the quality is not bad whatsoever. You can clearly see what that says. Attention to detail is decent, so pretty happy with that, to be fair. Now, I know the main thing that people want to see is the keyboard, and I will use that now. Let's open the Notes app. Let's do a little test. Now, remember what I said, that there are a few quirks that I don't like? Well, for one, these two buttons here, the capitalizing buttons, they are not used to capitalize the alphabets. For that, you need to use SIM, the SIM button. These have a different use case, and I'll show you what they are. So first, let's type something out. Let's type, this is a test. This is a test for the BlackBerry F9900 keyboard. I would rate this a 9 out of 10 experience. The typing experience is a real joy. So as you can see, very nice, quick, minimal mistakes, and pretty decent. Now, let me show you what these two buttons do. So, I'm not sure if you can see the blinking cursor, right? There you go. So, imagine if I made a mistake. Let's say I wrote the typing experience is a real joy, and I want to delete the word experience. So rather than me clicking on the screen while I'm typing, and that gets in the way when you have to shift your hand, all I have to do is press this or this to move in between the letters. So for example, let's delete experience. There we go. Now I want to go back to the end of the sentence and start typing again. All right, done. Right, now another thing, what I can do with these as well, I can highlight the text. So if I press SIM, if I hold SIM and then press this button here, as you can see, I can highlight the text, and then I can delete it or do whatever I want. So the typing experience is pretty good. The buttons obviously have a few issues, I would say. When I say issues, I mean different use case, if that makes sense. But overall, still a very pleasant experience. Now, I know a lot of people did not want to order this because they thought, most Chinese OEMs, they lock the bootloader. I'm happy to announce that mine came with an unlocked bootloader. Now, I personally won't be doing anything with it, but I know a lot of people want to kind of install Lineage OS or other custom OSs. I think there is something called Dummer OS as well. So I'll just take you through the settings and show you that the bootloader is unlocked. So if there's a community out there, if there are people who are techie enough, they want to start doing things for this phone, I would highly recommend that you purchase it. I'll leave a link in the bio, or I'll leave a link down below. From where I got this, it was basically I believe this was directly from the brand itself. They've got a international facing website. So yeah, again, like I said, I was skeptical that I would ever receive it. So you can imagine I was the guinea pig and I did receive it. So you should be all right as well. So I'll just go through the settings. I know a lot of people ask me, oh, does it have hotspot? I'm happy to say it does have hotspot. We'll just go through and see. There we go, hotspot and tethering. So it does have Wi-Fi hotspot, Bluetooth tethering. So everything works well. There we go. So use Wi-Fi hotspot, pretty decent. And then Bluetooth, apps, notifications, battery. As you can see, it says more than 2 days left. Storage, this I really like. You can schedule your power on and off. So when do you want it power on? When do you want it powered off? You know, the times and whatnot, pretty decent. If you're someone who's very much, you know, bombarded with work and whatnot, and you want time off, this is perfect for that. Sound and vibrations, display. Let's go and turn on the dark theme. I do really like dark themes. There we go. I think that's a much better user experience as well. And you've got your wallpaper and style. So, you know, I'm currently using the normal one. I think you can change it as well. So, not sure what that was, but yeah, let's go. Now, if I go to, I know it says about tablets, it should say phone, but this is, you are bound to see this on many phones, to be fair, that are, you know, from smaller manufacturers, if that makes sense. Now in the system, if I go, you can see developer options are turned on, and I will show you. There you go. So OEM unlocking is active, allow the bootloader to be unlocked. Now I understand that when you unlock the bootloader, you do void your warranty, so just be careful about that. Again, I'm not going to return this device. I have it, it's just there. I don't, you know, whether I use it long term or not, that's besides the point. But it's good to know that I could potentially, if someone out there, you know, builds apps for this or builds a custom OS and so on and so forth, you know, I'd be happy to kind of tinker around with that. And then I believe the other one you need is USB debugging, and that is active as well. Debug mode when USB is connected, so all good on that front. So as you can see, throughout the whole process, the device is quite nippy, it's quite small. Now I did say that I will give you my final thoughts on who this device is for. Now, given that the screen is only 2.8 inches, it's a QWERTY device as well. It's the size of, you know, the palm, my palm. I would say this falls under two categories combined. A hybrid dumb phone smartphone, which acts as a productivity device as well as a dumb phone. So if you're someone who wants to focus on digital minimalism, this is perfect. If it's someone who wants to kind of have a digital detox, perfect. If you're a businessman or businesswoman or business person and you want a communication device or something for your work purposes, this is perfect. If you want something to write emails with, and you know you're on the go and you want something small, this is perfect. If you are someone who, you know, is just nostalgic about the old Blackberries but wants a modern spec or modern firmware or software, this is for you. Again, I think this is a perfect device. The one thing I would say is the delivery for this device is starting in August again. They did so well with this device that they sold out all of it in the last few months. They've had their production going on for the last 2 months as well, and that's coming to an end by the end of this month, I believe, July. And starting August, they will start delivering again. There is going to be another upgrade to this device, so where they've upgraded the RAM and the storage, the next upgrade they're doing is the screen itself. While this screen is really good, they are upgrading the screen to a much better panel. And yeah, so all in all, the device is doing really well. The device is well made, like I said, feels good in the hand, does everything that it's meant to do. And you know, I'm very much happy with this. Would I recommend it? Yes, but I will also say that if you're looking for a main device, this might not be for you. If your main device, is for media consumption and gaming, then don't go for this. However, I do believe you could play emulators on this. I haven't tried myself, but I believe it would be amazing. I will, if I get the chance, I might do that. Leave a comment below if you want me to try an emulator game, and I will. But other than that, emails, messaging, communication, digital detox, productivity wise, I think it's great. I'm based in the UK. All networks work on this. I believe it will work in the EU and Asia as well. I can't say much about North America or anywhere else. That's something I'm sure if you go to the website, they do have the bands listed. So I will check that out before ordering. But more or less, I'm very happy with this. I know there's a lot of T9 devices out there. I know there are other devices as well. But for me, I think when you look at something like Commodore, the flip phone that's coming out for $499, and it's, it doesn't do much. And then you see this for $299. I would much rather go for this. But that's just me. I also have reason to believe that once they finish production for this and it's all sold out, they will be moving to another device built from the ground up that will be very different from this form factor, maybe, or it might be the case where it's a more premium device. So all I will say is that these tend to sell very fast from my research, from me talking to the owner of the brand. He said when he did the first production, it literally sold out within months, a month or so. I expect that the next production run will do the same. I would say if you are interested in this, then be quick to register your purchase. Be quick to pre-order or place your order, because if they do run out, it will take a few more months to kind of bring the next mass production into existence. But that's all the information I have by talking to the owner. And you know what? I'm glad that I gave it a chance. I'm glad that it showed up. Very happy with it. Let me know if you want me to do any more reviews about this, and I will do so. I would say that the next device, I do have another device that I need to review, and I'll just give you a glimpse of it. I did give you a glimpse in my last video. This is totally different from, the BlackBerry side of things, but it's still QWERTY and it's still really neat. There we go. So this is coming to Indiegogo soon. I believe it's launching tomorrow. This is the perfect dumb phone hybrid. This is in competition with the Commodore that's coming out. However, this is a QWERTY phone, and I believe the QWERTY is a much better experience than a T9 dumb phone. So QWERTY dumb phone is much better. As you can see, it is flip as well. I really love it. I could, if I wanted to watch something or do anything, this is perfect for me. There you go. So, the screen is really good. Very, very happy with this. But yeah, I will do a review once the campaign goes live. And yeah, let me know if you want me to actually do a review. Leave a comment below and I will do so. But coming back to this, what do you think of this now? Is this something you would purchase? Is it something that you'd keep as your second phone or maybe your main phone? Is it something you'd consider for your digital detox or maybe your work personal life balance? Yeah, tell me in the comments below what you think. I'm very impressed. I would give this a 9 out of 10. I know that's a high mark, but when something impresses you that much, you have to be real about it. But anyway, that's it for me. I'll catch you next time. Take care. Bye bye.